Joining me on set, our senior reporter, James Andre. Hello to you, James. Within the past half hour, we're getting some statements from Jean-Noel Barrot, the French Foreign Minister, who left Lebanon, is in Israel. He says he sees, or France rather, sees no obvious short-term end to the war in the Middle East. So what would be a successful visit for Barrot? What's he looking to achieve on this trip?
Well, I think what he's really looking to achieve, France definitely does not want to see a major military operation in southern Lebanon. They don't want to see Israel, reoccupy the south of Lebanon, as, they have done in the past. If you look in your history books, you'll see that in 1978, there was an operation called Operation Litani, during which, the Israelis advanced into southern Lebanon to uproot PLO operatives who were indeed wreaking havoc on the northern border of the country. This basically led to the creation of Hezbollah. This was, it was occupied also between 1982 and then 1985. And then again, the Israelis stayed roughly till 2000. This prompted, UN resolutions. Long story short, indeed, there has been, Israeli occupation of these areas, from 1978 to pretty much the 2000s, and they were pushed out. But the fact of the matter is, the French do not want to see this happen again. So what they're pointing to, because it is correct, Israel and Lebanon are technically at war ever since the state of Israel, was created, and they don't speak to each other. Joseph Aoun, the Lebanese president, has indeed told Jean-Noel Barrot that he is willing to have meaningful discussions with the Israelis, that he is ready to disarm Hezbollah, that he's ready to do a lot. He's even talking about potentially asking the Israelis for some logistical assistance to the Lebanese army in order to dislodge the armed troops of Hezbollah in the southern part of the region. This, of course, is absolutely unheard of. It's historic. And actually, Jean-Noel Barrot said that. He said this is a historic opportunity for both countries to come to the table and talk. What France is saying, A, it's historic. B, we are willing to offer the stage for this discussion in Paris, basically putting both actors, and especially Israel, in front of their responsibility, saying, right, this is it. You have an opportunity to talk to Lebanon. Are you going to seize that, or else are you indeed going to carry on with this military operation that France does not see as a good idea or a good move? This is very much what his message is with this visit.
And how likely is all of this to work?
Well, it's going to depend very heavily on what the Israelis decide to do. The problem is, if you listen to what Benjamin Netanyahu said yesterday in this press conference, he very clearly stated that basically he considers that the Lebanese government is weak, that as long as the powerful backers of Hezbollah, and that of course is Iran, has not been as the Iranian regime hasn't fallen, and that indeed they are still have this proxy relationship to Iran, well, he considers that there is no discussion to be had. And he considers that indeed the Lebanese government has not done his job, that the Lebanese army has not disarmed Hezbollah, and this was indeed not what was agreed on with the previous ceasefire. Still, of course, if you know the situation in Lebanon, it's obviously extremely difficult to disarm Hezbollah. It's true that the Lebanese army probably doesn't have the means to go into southern Lebanon and disarm Hezbollah. Southern Lebanon, I visited a few times for France 24, is indeed a stronghold, was a stronghold. Of course, there's been extensive damage, but you've got to see that you have millions of people who live there, a lot of whom actually support Hezbollah, and it's a very, very difficult move to think, right, you're going to uproot Hezbollah. It's very, very hard to do. Now, the question is, can they have talks? Can this de-escalate? Will the Israelis not go into southern Lebanon? The fact of the matter is, with the current government, you have a certain amount of hawks who will see this as an opportunity to move into southern Lebanon. So the big question mark is, does the Israeli government want to carry on with this operation, or are they willing to sit down at the table and indeed stop the conflict? And that's a big question mark. Benjamin Netanyahu has clearly said yesterday that basically for him, as long as the Iranian regime is in power, he sees no opportunity. We'll have to see what happens after this French intervention.